Conditional love is toxic in the sense that it says, well, I will love you, but only if you do this, this, and this for me. A boundary draws a line in the sand, and it says, I will always love you, but this is a line you don't cross. Because if you do, there will be natural consequences. Boundaries versus conditional love. It's really hard to talk to some families about boundaries and boundaries with their children because they see it as putting a boundary with their child might send them the message that you don't love them. So I think it's really important to talk about conditional love versus what is a boundary. Conditional love is toxic in the sense that it says, well, I will love you, but only if you do this, this, and this for me. A boundary draws a line in the sand, and it says, I will always love you, but this is a line you don't cross. Because if you do, there will be natural consequences, right? It never says, I don't love you. It just says that this is what I will tolerate and I will not tolerate. So when it comes to establishing boundaries between parent and child, that's where the rules and expectations come from. So we talked about online learning earlier on. So there are the boundaries. During this to this time, you are at school. These are the parameters in which you work in. This is what is acceptable. This is what is not acceptable. Just like in class, you couldn't go and pick up your phone and start playing a game. You are not allowed to do that. There would be consequences. And the most important thing is to follow through with it and to be consistent and to give 100% of your time and effort into it. Consistency is the key. Boundaries between children and parents are also very important because it would affect the quality of guidance. So for example, we spoke about the different types of learners. I actually want to talk a little bit about learning challenges here. So if you had, say, experienced as a child difficulty, say, with reading or with math, and it was tough for you because you might have had a pretty harsh teacher, you might have been publicly shamed, you might have had overly demanding or critical parents, conditions set up. If you didn't achieve, you wouldn't get this type of just love. And you have a child. There's so many hopes and dreams we put into our children when we have them. And it's almost, some parents see their children as their chance for redemption. You will be better than I ever was. You will have everything I never did. You will achieve the moon and the stars and the universe. So if in the chance that they start experiencing those learning challenges that they experienced, there's a trauma. So because it touches on that psychological black and blue. And sometimes it means for parents, they feel such immense pain when they see their child sad that they just want to rescue them because they're almost rescuing their younger selves. But what we have to remember is that, and I know we love the coin mini-me, and it is cute, and yes, this is my mini-me, but they're not a mini-you. Number one, they have a different genetic loading than you did. Number two, they went to different schools. Even say if they went to the same primary school or secondary school that you went to, it's a different set of teachers, a different culture, a different time. So they have their own unique issues, even if genetically they have inherited some of the processing challenges. The way to treat with them is to allow them to be them. And sometimes we just want to stop the pain because we stop the pain with them, it stops the pain with us. And then we get overly critical, the way we might have been overly critical with ourselves. And we demand that they're like this and they're like this. But where does this come from? It comes from fear. A boundary allows us to see us for us and them for them. And to love them and see them for their beautiful, authentic selves. For them to see their competencies. To know that they are loved regardless, without that fear factor, because we put that in there, we become reactive, we become critical, and then they react to us, and then it's a seen. Instead, a boundary allows us to draw the line saying, okay, this was my experience. This is his experience. So what can I do to help support him? I'm not rescuing, because a person who is rescued never learns life's lessons. They go off thinking they're going to be rescued and rescued and rescued and rescued because mom has done this and dad has done this and everybody's done this for me. Go out into the real world. Mom can't rescue you. Dad can't rescue you. You have to deal with it, and it's a trauma because they go from this bubble to reality. So we need to let them deal with the tough times. That builds grit. Boundaries allow for the building of grit. Remember the saying, no grit, no pearl. You have to face it. But once you do and you come out of the difficult tasks, you become stronger. Out of the ashes rises the phoenix.